I don't know if you know, but you look very different from what you are and from what you are on screen. Do you know that? Because in every film of yours, you look very different and you look very different in person. Do you know that? Or is that an effort? Is that a conscious effort to look very different from what you are?
I think this is who I am.
Why nobody's captured you like this then? I don't think even we did. I'm talking about Yenna Arinda. I really wish somebody would capture you just like how you are.
See,
I'm not saying you're not.
I'm most comfortable like this. Because I've seen a lot of people who meet me also. It's like, I don't know whether to take it as a compliment or what. Because a lot of people who see me on screen and see me for the first time, they say, "Ma'am, you look so pretty." And then I always wonder then what's going wrong there. Unless they don't see me off screen.
I was going to say, it's not that I'm saying you don't look nice on screen. But the image that you have on screen, except a few films, is of this very glamorous, you know, very desirable kind of a girl. But in person, I'm not saying you're not, but you're not entirely that. You're very simple and you come across as a very, 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 very simple, non-glamorous kind of a woman. But whereas on screen, you know, like I know half the people in town want you, like when they see you on screen, I'm saying it very, very openly, I'm saying it like that. But in person, you come across as somebody whom people would want to be, you know, consider as a good friend and somebody whom you want to talk to and stuff like that.
It's not conscious. I think this is something which I'm more comfortable with. When I put my makeup on, I think I'm the most uncomfortable person. Somehow I feel there's some other person. This is what I'm most like. The way I dress up, the way I carry myself like this is me, totally me. There's no conflict. And I think somewhere having two names helped. My real name is Sweetie. So everyone knows me as this. And when Anushka is what they've known me on screen. So I feel if not for, I don't know, but maybe if not for those two names, maybe I'd have been even more stressed. Because I myself find the makeup and being on that, I find it's a total different thing. For me, if I don't quickly get out of it, it's something which stresses me out on a long period. Having
interacted with you and knowing the kind of person that you are, I generally always felt that you're not in this because you know you want to be in this. You're just taking it as it comes, and probably 5-6 years down the line you'd probably find your own space somewhere else. So you were a teacher, you were a yoga instructor, and then you got into films. What's the journey been like for you? And from Sweetie to Anushka, actually, I'm saying. You're Sweetie. Who made you Anushka?
Actually, I still don't know where I want to be. I think maybe that's why that whole thing of even if you start, maybe it started off when I was in school. Wanted to do a lot of things. What interested me was human bodies, people. So maybe the best of knowledge I had that time was the closest you could get in a profession was being a doctor. And then that didn't happen. I thank my dad because he spoke me out of it. And then I got into yoga. And yoga again is to do a lot with, there's something about life, people and the human anatomy which fascinates me the most. So then I got into yoga, and that's something which I thought that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And then my yoga guru Bharat, he was like, since first day he met me, he kept telling me, you will get into movies, which I didn't believe in. And I was like, no way. I fought it for almost 5-6 years. Maybe if I had not, I would have got into movies when I was 19 or 20. And still, but I'm very, very glad. Actually, 1 week ago, I had a realization. 1 week ago that I went for a movie and I saw the movie. And when I got into movies, I didn't want to get into movies. I hated it for almost a year and a half. I hated it. But then I thought, let me learn. I'm already here. Let me learn what it's all about and just see what I can do. That's how my journey was. But then after watching a movie a few days ago, I just realized that I'm someone who being in movies keeps me alive. Because I'm someone who lives in this. I have this one world of my own. You know, maybe we call it fairy tale world when you're growing up and all that. But because when I saw the movie, that emotions, the depth, all of it, after watching the movie, when I came out and sat in the car and went onto the road, it was like reality hit me. So that's first time I thought that maybe life is real, life really knows what I need deep down inside, and that's why it put me into movies. And now being in this junction, I feel I've started understanding movies better, and more than as a profession, I feel there's something about movies which I'm not able to figure out, which keeps a very nice side of me alive. Maybe it's I don't know whether it's the fairy tale or that I don't feel the kind like when I listen to music and when I see movies, not all movies, most of the movies, when I see most of the movies, it's the feeling that gives me. I don't think in reality anyone can give me that feeling.
Which, I mean, I'm going to wait for you to say, you know, who named you Anushka and all that stuff. But before that, the only reason why I wanted to meet you and talk to you was this, and I'm going to ask you this question, and this question will probably open up the minds of a lot of other people. Has it been good for you, the industry? I mean, I know the kind of films that you do and the kind of person that you are. You come from a very respectable family and you've forayed into films and stuff like that. Now, with the answer that you give me, I want this to open up the minds of a lot of other women for them to come into the industry happily and know that this will be a safe place for them to work in. Has it been nice and safe and good for you?
Like now, I would say, because now I have a place, in the industry, and then people believe that there's a myth that people believe that, oh no, once you become a star, then everything is fine. I want to say that's the biggest lie, because I think 1.5 years after coming to the industry itself, from then on I have the same notion that it's in fact one of the most safest places. People think, no, there's a lot of things which happen here, but if people open their eyes, it happens everywhere. And I don't think it has anything to do with the profession. It has to do with your own choices. And any good or bad which has happened to me in this 10 years has been my choice. It's never been that things, it's been manipulative. Or it's never happened more than what's happened in my normal life.
Okay.
Even before I got into movies, what normal negativity you see or positivity, that's always there, and that continues. It has nothing to do with industry, and I would in fact say people should come in. I'm so glad I'm here, and one more thing I would like to thank life for putting me here is because this is one place where you have to be a quick learner. There's no place for being lazy and hiding behind your own flaws and blaming others. Doesn't happen here. I feel I don't want to get into the spiritual side of it, but I feel the film industry is a very spiritually rich place. Either you lose yourself if you don't work and maybe you'll be out, or you just keep growing. There's no end to growing.
But you do put your foot down when you don't like something that somebody's asking you to wear, or a particular moment on sets where you're not comfortable with what they're asking you to do.
There are times when I have not put my foot down because I was not very sure of what I want and what I don't want.
Correct.
It was not that I was, that I was very sure that I don't want to do it and someone's forced it on me. Whenever I have done those things and felt uncomfortable, it was because I didn't know better.
Okay.
I was confused with myself. So that's where I've learned. So now if I feel there's something which has a conflict, I voice it, and I've noticed there's no confusion, It's when you voice it clearly, everyone's so okay with it. Usually you have that notion. I heard from a lot of young girls who come to industry, no, if we tell, then they won't take us in the movie. I feel all those things are your own fears which you're battling in your head. The day you voice it out, you'll be shocked to see how many more people are so helpful and cooperative, and they want you to feel better. Nobody here wants you to feel bad. And you always have a choice. If you're in a situation where you're not comfortable, you always have a choice to work out of it. Again, nobody's holding a gun, and if you stay there, you're doing it for your own reasons. You can't blame anyone.
So I really hope some of the young girls seeing this, it opens up their minds for them, saying that this is because there are lots of people whom we meet, they'll say, no, we don't want to do films. Ad films are okay, but I can't figure out why.
But why?
I don't know. Seriously, a lot of girls, some good-looking girls, we just approach them. The team goes and meets them. No, if it's a feature, we don't want to get into it. If it's an ad film, call us for that. See, I don't know why they have that.
I definitely would say it for people who, if you don't want to come into the film industry, it's definitely not a safe place. In certain ways, that I feel it's not a safe place. It's not easy.
Yeah.
For all these people who sit out and think, oh, these people are celebrities, it's easy money, it's glamour, if that in that front, I would say it's definitely not an easy place. You have to work hard. There's no fooling yourself. I feel in a lot of other professions, you can fool people, and you tend to fool yourself and get away with it. Maybe after 10-15 years, you see the result. But here, maybe because of the kind of work it is, the kind of people you meet every few months, you don't have a choice to fool yourself.
Yeah.
So if people are ready to put in all that work, I feel it's the most amazing profession to be in, whether it's in terms of creativity, in terms of self-growth, in terms of the glamour, if that's what they need, all of it. If I had a daughter tomorrow, a daughter or a son, I would definitely be more than happy to put them into the industry. But I'll always tell them that, the only thing I would want you to think is it's a lot of hard work. My dad, when I wanted to get into medicine, my dad was the one who talked me out of it. So he said, tomorrow, you know, if you get into medicine, you just can't do MBBS and quit. You have to do your, you know, your higher education. And medicine is a field where you have to keep upgrading yourself. There's no point where you finished. So he told me, you know, don't you want to have a family life? You need all of it. So don't do medicine. So I tell my dad now, I say, see how destiny is. He's like, I'm in a field again, which again is even worse than medicine. At least medicine, you're sitting and studying at home. Here you have to keep upgrading yourself. Here you can't slack. You know, you have to
reinvent.
You have to reinvent. You have to work. There's so much of self work which happens. You're traveling so much. It's so much more harder than that.
So this Sweetie to Anushka, how did that happen? As in, I know somebody saw you and said act and all that, you went for something else and then they asked you to come in. Nagsa, I think, right?
Yeah. Puri Jagannath was the first person. Because I said my yoga guru Bharat wanted me to get into movies. And then Enivas, director Enivas, he is like family to me.
Okay.
So he is close to Puri Jagannath. So when they were looking for a girl for Super, he was the one who suggested my name. And he had asked me to meet Puri Jagannath. And I remember the first time I had to meet him, he was in Bombay and I was there teaching yoga. So and I didn't want to get into movies. I was like trying to run away at that point. I remember he made a call. He said, you know, Puri Jagannath is down, just give him a call and meet him. So I said okay, and I was very nervous, and so I didn't call him. So next time they asked me, I told no, I called him, his phone was switched off.
But you knew who these guys were? Like you knew?
No,
okay.
I knew he was a director.
Okay.
That's all. I've never grew up watching movies, so I had no clue who was which actor, which actress or director. I just didn't want to do it, so I lied. So I said no, I called, his phone was switched off. So he said, oh, okay, fine. So the next time he came, the next month when he came back to town, then Bharat and Sinona, all of them knew that this girl is up to something. They said, no, we spoke, he's right here now, on your way to class, go. And I was in a very weird state. I remember at that point I was wearing my yoga clothes and all that. Maybe call it destiny, whatever. So others, I usually go out in a salwar. So wearing my yoga clothes, and they were like, my friends were like, no, you're going to meet a director, dress up and go. I said, no, I'm not going to dress up. This is who I am, this is how I'm going to go, and I went. And I feel somewhere maybe because of that I got selected also, because I had to play a tomboy in the movie.
Okay.
And I met Puri Jagannath, and a lot of embarrassing stuff happened to me during that first 1-2 months of my auditioning, you know, because I remember usually when someone asks you for a photograph, it's usually a portfolio, right? And
you
I
give
didn't
your
know
passport
that.
Picture,
Yeah, I didn't know it was I didn't know something called a portfolio existed. So it was very genuine. He asked me, so when he was leaving, he said, okay, fine, you might have to come to Hyderabad. Anyways, I have to show your picture to Nagarjuna sir, so can you just give me your picture? So I was like, fair enough. I opened my wallet, I gave him a passport size picture. I still never forget his expression. He just looked at the picture, looked at my face, and he was like, okay. He left. And then they called me back, and then we went through a series of auditioning and whatever it was. And then Nag asked me to come in December. We were supposed to start shooting from March. He said, just come, stay here, so you'll get used to this place and all that. And at that point, I didn't even know that when you're signed for a movie that you ask for a story. So I was going back to Bombay, and Puri Jagannath was on the same flight. And it was very awkward because he kept looking at me on the flight. And then he would be like quiet. Then he would look at me again quiet. He said, then he's like eventually like, Sweetie, you know you're going to do this movie, no? I said, yeah. So then he's like, so don't you want to know the story? That's when it occurred to me that you're supposed to know a story, you're supposed to know what character you play. So it was all that much, it's basic. And then once we started the movie, we had to give a name for the rolling titles. So they thought Sweetie was little, even I thought Sweetie was odd. So I thought I'll change my name. Then I called my dad, so he said, no, go ahead. Very few people are blessed to choose their own names, enjoy. And then I remember getting a baby book and searching for names.
Oh, really? Okay, it happened like that.
Yeah. And then it came to Anushka. I didn't like the name though. I just thought because it was so much.
You picked it?
Yeah. It was Sonu Sood was there, Nag was there, all of us. We picked a few names, and then I'm like, okay, we'll give away Anushka because there's a lot of pressure. So what my plan was that I'll take 2 more months and search for a nice name. I wanted a real nice name, and then change my name even on my passport and all that. So I gave off Anushka, and then I was still with the baby books, and I remember Nag asking me, like, what are you still looking for? I said, no, I want a nice name. So he said, it doesn't work like that. He said,
for every film where you can change your name.
Yeah, you can't. So I stuck as Anushka. But it's very weird because you've known as Sweetie for so many years. And then suddenly when people, till date, if someone calls me Anushka, I just feel like, it's like, you know, you suddenly want to get
Yeah, I'm
onto
sure.
attention, that work mode.
But then there's been no looking back since then, right? I mean, it's
No.
been quite
No,
a
for first
journey.
1.5 year, there were a lot of times when I wanted to quit, because the reasons were opposite. Like you know, you're saying that, you know, why should, whether it's a safe place to come or what to the industry. I remember a lot of times when I used to go back home crying, because and my friends would be like, was anyone rude to you? Was anyone, you know, mean? And I would be like, no, I couldn't dance, but everyone was so nice to me. They said, it's okay, take 10 days also and do it, it's okay. So I couldn't understand. I felt maybe I'm, because I never understood it better. I thought maybe somebody else could be in this place. Maybe I was just not doing justice to that place. Till I did Arundhati, somewhere in between shooting Arundhati, and I thank Shyam Prasad Reddy for it, because as we were shooting, he used to explain things to me, and somewhere I developed that interest towards getting to know what it is about and all. I think from then on, I made a conscious decision that, you know, I'll give my best, but I want to learn. I want to understand this field before I quit.
But all these guys see you as Rudrama Devi, Arundhati, and you know, from figures from history and period fantasy characters and stuff like that. You also like that?
No,
You don't.
that's totally not me. That's
Oh.
totally not me. I remember when I did Arundhati, after that there were a lot of people who came with me, like almost with like some 10-12 scripts which are similar to Arundhati. And somewhere I have a lot of respect for people who think out of the box, who can look, you know, maybe it won't be a success, maybe things, you can never define what will be successful, but that's something I've learned after doing Arundhati and all of that, that there are a lot of lazy people in the industry also. Like, they don't want to take a chance, they don't want to take a risk, and there are a lot of people who ride on others' success. Like, if one movie does well, then they want to do the same kind of a genre and, you know,
Yeah.
cast the same kind of people.
Ride on that wave and all that stuff.
And
Yeah.
right, and they don't want to think different. So somewhere I feel maybe because I worked with a lot of people who always thought out of the box, who always, even at times when even I didn't believe that I could pull off something, they've seen me in that character, maybe because of the belief they have in the script, and we've pulled it off together. And nobody can define, see, only people can define me as what they've seen me, and what people have dared enough, or you know, done script, like whether it's a Vedam, whether it's Arundhati, people have thought, okay, that she can pull it off. And sometimes I feel maybe there are a lot of sides of me which maybe even I don't know that I can do.
But it's also a lot of work. If you look at any of these films, like
Yeah.
even Bahubali,
Yeah.
looking old and you know being confined to that space, so you have to get into that character. I know you kept telling us how you were caked in mud every day, and so once you get into it, you're not somebody who will complain. You just went through that, right? You went through the process.
Yeah. No, I feel
You feel you feel worthy. You say, yeah, good, I'm doing some good stuff. Kind
it's
of
worth
thing.
it. And I usually, what I do, even when signing a movie, I don't take up stuff which I feel that I would complain later. There'll be
Yeah.
something which in every project that I do, whether the technicians, whether the script, whether the actors, something that excites me. That's only when I take it up. And once I take it up, I feel you need to be responsible for what you're doing. And there are lots of times, I remember in Bahubali where we had prosthetics, my face, arms and all that. It's not that it's easy. It can take a toll on your skin, and it's not an easy process. But I'm glad I'm doing it, because I know a lot of people maybe in their whole career wouldn't have gotten to play roles like that. So if you see it from that point of view, I just feel like, wow, you know, and especially this past 3 years, like Bahubali, Rudrama Devi, whether it's Aizir, all different kinds of scripts, it's like a fast forward.
Yeah. I remember while shooting NA Arindal, there was Ajit sir on one side who's so kind and considerate, and then there's you on the other hand who's so kind and considerate and looking out for people and stuff like that. I remember somebody saying there's so much of goodness on the sets.
Rana.
I'm feeling a little, you know, claustrophobic, he said. Yeah, Rana said
Rana.
that. Yeah.
He goes out and tells this to everyone. He said, once I go on that set, there's goodness everywhere.
Yeah, but you are that. I mean, I know you don't have to make a conscious effort to be that, but I'm also saying that because a lot of people are not. That's why you notice when people are like that.
No, I think I genuinely like people. Like I told you, no, and I wanted to become a doctor because I'm fascinated by human beings, by people, by anatomy, by life. There's something about which has always fascinated me. So for me, it's I'm very easy to relate to another person, unless I'm going through a rough patch, or I'm feeling, the time that maybe I'm feeling low, maybe I'm feeling insecure. That's the only time I feel I'm not that open to people. But otherwise, I genuinely like people, and I want to thank all those people who've been mean. It's made it so easy for me to get.
For you to be noticed extra, you're saying. So, you taught children, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you
third standard.
in Bangalore.
Yeah, in the same
Okay.
school where I studied.
You studied in
Yeah.
Bangalore. Okay. And how often do you meet your parents? Considering the kind of work that you're
Not
in.
very often actually, because I don't like them coming to Hyderabad when I'm shooting, because then all my focus is at home. I just always want to make sure that I go home quickly, spend time with them, or throughout the day also. Because that's a new environment for them.
Yeah.
Bangalore, it's their place, and they don't come on shoots. I'm not very comfortable with that. So whatever little time, maybe when I'm not shooting, I ask them to come, or I go for like 3-4 days. But I think the worst was a few years ago when I didn't see them for almost 11 months.
11 months
Yeah.
at a stretch, still being here in the country
Yeah,
because of work.
because of work. And somehow I've never felt that, I've never felt that distance. Maybe because they're always on the phone,
Okay.
we're chatting. I've never ever felt that, I'm away from my parents. And also in Hyderabad, I need to thank all these people in Hyderabad, because from day one they've never ever made me feel that I'm in a
Yeah.
new city. Everyone's,
Okay.
whether it's Rajmouli's family, Nagarjuna's family, all of them, they're always there looking out, and I have a lot of good friends there. So
And if I remember right, you've told me that you grew up with two brothers, right?
2 older brothers, yeah.
Two older brothers. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like if I had a sister like you at home, I have two sisters, I would have been really edgy, keeping out all the boys,
It's like,
from your
oh my
vicinity.
God.
and
Yeah. I
It's
know
been
it's,
tough for them more than for you, I'm saying.
it's a good thing and a bad thing. I would still tell everyone out there, for all the brothers who have sisters, I feel there has to be a balance. Because a lot of times, and what happens is, because I was sheltered, like I only knew school, home, college, home. My brothers or my dad will pick me up, and anything I want, they're always there. And I never ever saw the real world because of my family. Till I was almost 21, 22, and I left home when I was 22 to Bombay. So I never knew what the real world was, because I was so sheltered, to a point where I've never heard people using abusive language. So it is all taken care of. I feel that's the flip side of it, because when suddenly I went to Bombay, and I was by myself, and I had to suddenly deal with the real world. Which I was like, okay, I've always got confused whether that was real or this was real.
Okay.
And after a point you come to a balance. So I keep telling my brothers, like there's so much for you that after a point you become handicapped without them.
But I would like to ask your brothers how much they got from you about life and about women and stuff like that, because they also grew up with a girl at home, and looking at you and the things you did, and your friends and everything, they must have also got a lot from you about women and how they handle women in life today. I'm saying.
Yeah. No, that's true. Because I know my second brother Guna also. He's like a very strong person, But till date, I notice a lot of things that when he has to take a major decision or something in life, he'll always call me and he'll check. It's not that he can't, and I know it's not because of who I am. It's not because of that. Maybe because somewhere he knows that I've gone through certain things. I've grown as a person. The things that I have lived through. So he always feels, he's like, no, I just want to know. He'll tell his friend, no, I'm just going to check with her once before I take a decision. And I have a lot of respect for my parents because of that, It's because like how everyone has this notion of this industry, that the industry is not safe.
Yeah.
And they are extremely conservative, to a point where I was never allowed to go for sleepovers. It was that bad. And I feel for people like that to grow today, and never at any point have they called me and said, oh, there's this gossip, how is the industry, is it a bad place? It's both my parents, the only thing they tell me is it's what you are is how people are going to treat you. So if something goes wrong, first think what you did wrong, then blame someone. So I feel maybe all that's what made me what I am today.
So when you wake up and when you get out of bed and you look forward to the day unfolding, you're happy, right? This is what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like for example, I know you're getting into Bahubali 2 now and you're looking forward to it, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing what you want to do, unlike lots of people who are not happy doing what they do now.
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that it has been always, but now. So maybe I wake up every morning and I go and feel this magic of cinema which is alive now, and I live that world and all that. So I know a lot of people just do it as a profession, being an actress, or whether it's monetarily and all those things. For me, I think it's that world that keeps me alive.
Like you were saying, when you saw Bajirao Mastani, something happened to you when you came out of the theatre.
When after seeing the whole thing, it's when I stepped out and I sat in the car and we came from the basement out onto the road, it hit me so hard that, oh God, this is reality, back to reality. There's something about movies, I feel, see, at the end of the day, whether you have money, the reason why everyone, I feel, wants money is because somewhere deep down you want that power. It's not that money is something which doesn't govern your emotion. It's something else it's linked to. Each one of us out there, whether they like it or not, wants another person to love them, wants another person. They want to be known. Maybe they want that attention. They want that love. That attention again is only because of love. I feel our whole life revolves around emotions. And for me, I'm a totally emotion-driven person. I feel the day you take out music from my life, and now if you take out this whole storytelling and cinema out of my life, I feel I'll be like a walking zombie. I'll be like just, I won't. The day you take out emotions out of me, there's nothing left to me. The whole drive is not there after that. Somewhere nowadays, I feel as we are growing, each one of us are so shy and we are so inhibited to show our emotions. We are so happy blaming others. We so easily can tell I'm better than you, or you can say that's wrong, this is wrong. We are so good at picking negatives, but we are so bad at showing emotions, whether it is love, mainly love, whether it's love or showing that you're sad. Everyone wants to just be stronger. I don't know why. Everyone wants to just be better than someone, as if we are running on a defensive mode. Everyone's running on a defensive mode. Everyone wants to be so much more fitter, as if you're going to die tomorrow, so much more stronger that you don't want anyone to affect you, and somewhere that emotion is gone. And I feel maybe when watching the movie, there's such, the emotions are said so beautifully and all that. I could so connect to it. And when I came out, it was like someone hitting me on my head. Okay, now this is reality.
Basically, you're saying it's the world of cinema and you're transported into that, and that's why it entertains people, it makes people go through, and that's how it should be, right? You don't want so much reality on screen, is what you're saying.
Yeah, true.
You don't want to see, you want to be transported into another world, sort of thing.
Not exactly. So I'm not only talking. One thing is being transported in a fantasy, where you're making it. It's like your Cinderella stories that you grew up. But I feel everyone can be transported to the same place even without a fantasy.
Okay.
But just being rich in emotion.
Yeah.
I feel end of the day, whatever you call it, cinema, you call it whatever. There's nothing that which is not there in real life that's existing on screen.
Correct.
So each human being who goes there, if they like something, is because they're connecting to there's something about it they're connecting to. And I feel the more and more I'm working in movies, the more and more I'm able to connect to the reality and cinemas. I feel it's so close. Otherwise, why would people go and watch a movie? There's so much of drama happening in your own life. Why would you go watch?
So you're not a loner. You have friends where you live right now. Your family is somewhere else, in another city or another state.
Yeah.
But knowing you, I know you like people and you like a crowded house and stuff like that. You've told me when you come to Chennai, you go to this person's house only because you love to see people around.
Yeah.
So that means you are a family person. So are you looking forward at some point to live in a big family with getting married to someone and stuff like that? Are you looking forward to all that, or right now that's not even there on your mind?
No, I definitely look forward to all of that. Actually, in fact, before I got into movies, when I was in school, I never believed in the whole concept of being and having a career, ambition or something. I didn't know about all those things. I just knew that you grow up and then you suddenly meet this wonderful person, and you get married and they lived happily ever after. That was my motto of life. So like I said, I live in my own world. So I never knew this whole reality of you have to go pay your bills, you have to earn for it and all that. Something which I never grew up. I just believe that there will be one day this person who will come and everything will be taken care of. It's you just have to
I'm
ask
sure
for
you'll
it.
meet that wonderful person who will be equally kind and generous like you are. Sure, let that be a myth. No, you don't need to crack that much in
I don't
life.
need to. Yeah.
A unit that you love to work with, or a film that you really love to work in, or while you were at shoot and stuff like that. An actor that you really enjoyed working with.
First question everyone had was, oh, you're taller than Surya, oh, you're taller than Surya.
But you do understand why they're coming to you,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And you're
yes.
okay with that.